The late 70s and early 80s was just a golden age of bands straddling the nexus between jazz and rock. And in the United States, numerous bands sprung up, some on major labels, some on smaller labels, doing like they're putting their ideas together for one album, sometimes two, but in a lot of cases, one album. And such as this band from 1982, Aurora Borealis. From the album titled Aurora Borealis with Mitch uh, Dematoff, this is the track What's Your Status? It's so funny. The moment I heard that cowbell, the first thing I was thinking of was the intro to Working for the Weekend by Loverboy, but this is going to turn into a very different song. Oh, and I do apologize for the sonic limitations. The copies that have gotten out there have not been of the best sound quality. Let's see, how many instruments have we heard so far already? We've heard some synthesizer, we've heard some like guitar and drums. And the bass and guitar seem to be doubling up on the same exact figure, just like a few octaves apart from one another. Isn't it quite obvious what these guys were listening to? Yeah, they were listening to Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy quite a lot, I can imagine. Now the piano and bass are carrying the figure while the guitarist just goes crazy. He's just doing all kinds of like fizzling fretwork. I wonder if this was written by one person or if it was written just kind of in like an ensemble, like in ensemblic form in the studio, where each part, each solo or each section that one instrument dominates, that instrumentalist added that part or thought of that part and said, "Oh, this will work here," and another guy says, "Oh, and this will work here." Hear that modulation, the way it was working out of that section, the way those chord or the underlying chords just kept like rising, and expand like further that momentum. like that was going on right there. Hear that like that hi-hat that's really adding to the pace. Now the guitar is really just putting a line of fire across the center, but those pianos, if you listen closely, like they're coming out like one side, kind of adding nuance, adding a little bit of sparkle to it all. Yeah, those like chromatic chordal passages that bring that like descend and then like basically a few, there may be like one instrument kind of going downward while another goes upward, and they're finding these sort of adjoining key centers that like complement each other in some way. It's like one might be like, say, like in one tonic, while the another instrument is coming, say, from a lower octave, say the third note of this particular tonic, like in a major, and then this instrument goes down like maybe half a step, and then this one rises to like the third or the fifth or something in the minor. And then finally they kind of almost, to the point where they almost join at the resolutions. Hear that the drummer throws those toms in, and the intensity that the drummer keeps adding as he enhances the accents more and more. It's sections like the one that we just heard that makes this style of music so incredible, in that they're able to take almost any section and pivot into another through use of chromatics. Like it's a few few composers in the realm of rock have that ability. Tony Banks of Genesis being one of the few exceptions. It seems who can join just any two sections together by finding a pivot that makes sense, going out of one and into another. said that writers who imbibe themselves with plenty of jazz in addition to rock are bound to become somewhat more sophisticated songwriters because they're going to have more solutions at their disposal when it comes to key changes and section development and resolutions and pivots and whatnot. Yeah, there you had it. Aurora Borealis, the track "What's Your Status" from their singular album 1982's Aurora Borealis with Mitch Dematoff. And here on Discogs we have virtually no information on this release other than that it came out on the Red Hot label, a small press that it may have been actually a self-press or seems like one other album came out, Johnny Otis. I think I think there may have been a few labels. I think this was like a one-off press. Let's see. Although the namesake in question here, Mitch Dematoff, does have his own website. Musician, composer, artist, and audio producer. Let's see. After touring with Chick Corea in 1978, oh, interesting. He put together the West Coast jazz fusion band Aurora Borealis. Continuing toward doing film music led him to studies at UCLA under the direction of Don Ray and Jerry Fielding. No, the soundtrack composer. Didn't Jerry Fielding did a bunch of like late '70s movies, like soundtracks. I think he did. Didn't he do Swarm? I'd have to double check again. In the mid-'80s, he worked for Hitsville Motown Studios in Hollywood, producing, publishing demos, and scoring music for minor film projects. A lot of these artists who did these jazz rock records during the late '70s, like a lot of them did only one album. There were so many, like Child's Play, Lips, Aurora Borealis, Artport, dozens upon dozens of them. The musicians went behind the scenes, and because they were skilled musicians, it's not quite like in pop rock where a band might do one album and then the members just end up drifting off into just other fields entirely. These you'd be surprised to find that a lot of these people who played on just one jazz rock album have never left the industry, have remained involved in music because they just went behind the scenes. They've played on other people's records. They've become in-demand studio musicians. They've become music professors, because they really know music and they understand more the complexities of music in a way that a lot of people don't, because they come from that more conservatory trained background. They know music theory. Anyway, yeah, great jazz rock album from 1982, great year for music, and a lot of tracks, of that similar intensity and energy, and if I, first heard it like 4 years ago, and it quickly made it into my upper echelon of 82 albums out of nearly 1,000 that I've heard at this point. Yeah, for more great Rubies and Sapphires from this album and other great albums from 1982, see the 1982 album directory in the links below. It's got like about 950 titles as I speak right now, and until next time, and like and subscribe for more videos like this. Until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most air travel tri-maximalist.